Good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a rehearsal for the future. You probably all think that making a photograph is a matter of simply organising yourself and pushing the shutter. Years ago, when I was first asked to do critiques of photographs, I felt that I needed some kind of formulaic approach to this. And so I formulated the number of points that you have in your hand. You don't need to read the bottom yet, but you can read it afterwards. Just the points is the most important thing. And I created a checklist for making a photograph, which was really a checklist for me personally to critique photographs. It was the approach I used and still use for looking at a picture and making allowances for some things and thinking about the others. So there are several points here which maybe none of you has thought of. Subsequently, I used this very same checklist in my class's Introduction to Black and White Photography. But it doesn't really matter whether it's black and white or colour or digital or anything else, or pinhole for that matter. The first thing on my checklist is availability. Now, when I studied with Paul Caponegro in the States many years ago, 1994, Paul, who's a very well-known photographer in many circumstances, sat down in his chair and he said, okay, the first thing I want to talk to you about is availability. And this is about a mental attitude to how you approach making a photograph. And you can walk along the harbour and see the opera house and say, yeah, I need a snap of that. So you can do that. But what he's really talking about probably applies more to landscape and to still life and anything else, or to portraiture. And the idea of availability is the idea of letting the subject speak to you. Let the subject come to you. Make yourself available to the subject to communicate with you. If you don't do that, particularly with portraiture, you'll stuff it up. You'll get a picture and it might be a fluky one, but you have to somehow make yourself available to the subject to influence you. Does that make sense? That's the first thing I think when I sit in the bush, because I'm a landscape photographer by choice, and I just sit on a rock and I might sit there and have lunch, or I might take some sayos and tomatoes and things like that with me, and I enjoy that until something says, take me. And no, it's not what you're thinking, Andy. Because I have 10 minutes, I'll just let that one go now, availability. Second one is attitude. So when you make a photograph, are you taking it for your mum to show her where you've just been? Are you taking it because you think Nina might like to see it? Or are you taking it to try to make a statement about that subject matter and your attitude towards it, your availability to it, if you like? Which one of these is operating on you? Are you just taking it for mum? In which case you'll just find the best position and just do it. If you're taking it for posterity, or to say something more, you'll think about it a little longer and you will figure out what your attitude is when you're taking that photograph. Is that one clear? Now, have anyone thought of these things before? Good, I'm saying something new. That's nice. The third one is viewpoint. Where do you take a photograph from? You've decided that it's not for mum, it's for posterity. You've sat on your log for 10 minutes and watched the surrounding bush and the kangaroos or whatever it is you're looking at. Or you've had a chat with the person like Undy does, for example, on telly. Perhaps a little less public than that. But you try to get inside the subject, or more to the point, try to let the subject get inside you. And at that point, you're ready to sort of do something. And you need to find out where you're going to do it from. Now, if I have a camera to my eye, of course that's a barrier in portraiture because you're putting something up between yourself and the person. But if you have a camera perhaps on a tripod and you've put them in an appropriate position and you're having a chat with them, then there will be a particular viewpoint you have chosen. You've chosen because the lady has a longer nose than normal. You might choose a higher viewpoint, etc., etc. I don't need to labour the point, but you have to choose a very precise viewpoint from which to make this photograph. That reveals a lot. Now, it can be as little as 1 centimetre difference, either direction or up and down. You get a little bit of knee exercise, maybe. You want to get the camera down a bit lower. You might lie on the ground. I've had a camera, a big camera, on a tripod, upside down on them, but hanging from the tripod rather than on top of it. And waves rolling in towards me because I wanted a very low viewpoint. So these sorts of things are what I'm talking about with a viewpoint. Now, I said I was going to talk about all 5 asterisk points down below. Composition and choice of focal length of the lens. How many pictures do you take with the zoom? And most of you will use a zoom. How many pictures do you take with the zoom at one end or the other of the range? I'm willing to bet 50% or more because you want to get closer. That's a viewpoint question. Where is the right place? Where is the right place to photograph Christopher from?
From the camera.
No. Is it from here? Because I'm used to sitting at a table talking with you. Or if it's Malcolm Fraser, whom you may remember, it might be 20 feet away, so you want to take him with a long photo lens, long lens. So this is the choice of where you want to relate to the subject from and how much of it you want to include in the photograph. So you might choose to shoot Malcolm Fraser with a 200mm lens from 15 feet, so he looks haughty and far away from us all, which is the way a lot of people thought about him at the time. But you may also be photographing your wife, with whom you have a relationship and with whom you're used to speaking to her from across the table. That's where you should make the photograph from, where the person feels right to you. So portraiture is a good aspect to talk about in this subject. So make it from where the person feels right, and then choose the lens which incorporates exactly what you want. You can make a fabulous portrait with a 21mm lens. I'm talking about standard 35mm lenses. You can make a fabulous portrait from right up close. But if you're this far away with your camera, then how far, what's the distance, relative distance between these two things and the camera? One's twice as far away. So we may not want that. On the other hand, we may. So you need to choose where you are and then choose a lens to include just exactly what you want. If it's, you're going to take it from 2 feet and you're going to choose to include my hands and my waist and my head, then you're going to have a 21mm lens. Do you understand my point? Okay. And the final thing I wanted to talk about tonight was focus. You all know about depth of field, I'm sure of that. And you all know that f22 is better than f2.8 if you want to get everything reasonably sharp. But it's an important decision because it's a pictorial decision. It's not a mechanical decision. It's not about exposure, which comes next, or anything else, or when to push the button. It's a pictorial decision. What do you want sharp and what do you want soft? You saw some good examples of tonight in Patrick's cello. So these are the 5 key things for me that start off making a photograph. And I thought, given 10 minutes, that was probably all I needed to say tonight. But I've written down below a little explanation of each one of them, and something like this will be published in Flash so that you'll have it as a permanent record. Okay?